Well, hello, and welcome back to Read Becca. We're back at the top of another month, and it just keeps happening. I don't know why. The months are just coming at us rapid fire. But that means we get to look forward with all of the hope and ambitions and potentials of the month for reading. And so all of my ideas have been bubbling up into my brain about what do I want to pick up. And I didn't tie things together thematically, so I have a bit of a mishmash this month. But I think let's talk about the general focus I have right now. So I know I talked about it in spring, but I can't remember if I did or did not talk about it in June. I have been really wanting to lean into things like series, reading from authors that I know and love. And so I think that for summer, I'm going to kind of lean into a backlist summer. I like naming things, so this is not anything I'm running. I just like naming things. So that's sort of my theme, is backlist from authors I love. And I have a couple in mind. Like I know that I keep going to the library and reaching for T. Fisher's two brand new books, and then putting them back on the shelf because I have multiple T. Fisher books on my e-reader to get to that I need to read before I go to the newest stuff. And so I should do that. I know I'm going to love them. Why am I not picking them up? So that, Cory Doctorow, I have like 4 or 5 books of his that I have not read, and I should do that. So I need to be turning to those authors I already know I'm going to love their books, and they're just sitting there on my shelves. So that is a big priority. I have a couple that I've selected here, but I mentioned a couple of authors there that I do really want to get to this month. So let's dive into the one actual readathon prompt that I do have, and that is for the TBR Reading Spa Readathon, which is a year-long readathon with monthly sort of quizzes to get your prompt, and so everybody gets a different outcome. This is run by Carrie Books and Jen the Librarian, and the prompt for July, or the quiz for July, starts with, when you go on holiday, how many books do you pack? Just one, so you can buy more while I'm away, too many, or no books, just my e-reader. And I would say any of those options could work depending on the circumstance, really. So I think I'm going to go with too many because of that, because I could go with all of the above. So that leads us to, are you in a book club? Yes, I am. I have an in-person book club locally that get together as a small group, and we play board games tied to the book or tangentially in some way connected with the book. So it's a very nerdy book club. So that leads us to read a book that fits a prompt from another reading challenge. And I went with the Ben Reads Good challenge, which is also a year-long with a monthly prompt type of readathon. And I love Ben's channel in general. He's a bit more of a lit-fic focused reader than I am, but I enjoy his taste and style and personality very, very much. And I love that he has a sense for puns and wordplay, as I do very, very much. So he, for July, has the prompt of True Lie. And with that prompt, we're going for something inspired by truth or nonfiction, potentially. And so I went with a fiction book from an author I've read and loved before. And this is Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. And Jamaica Inn is a real place, and I believe it's kind of a smuggler's location. So this one, I think, is going to fit somewhat in the suspense realm with a little bit of romantic suspense to it, just like Rebecca, her most famous. And so I know she is a queen of suspense, really, really writes compelling stories. So I don't know very much about this one, other than people seem to mostly love it. So I'm really excited to get to some more du Maurier, for sure. So that is it for real, structured plans. The rest is just stuff I kind of grabbed because I was feeling connected with it in the moment. So we have Archangels of Funk by Andrea Hairston, another author I have read from and loved before. So I get along with her writing very much, but the previous book, I think the actual plot and story that I read, Master of Poisons, I really struggled with understanding what was going on. So this one seems to have a little more straightforward story. It's very Afrofuturist. I think it's kind of dystopian type of world, or maybe even post-apocalyptic, but it sounds like it's got a lot of hope and a sense of community within a very dire situation. So I think that I'm really looking forward to. So continuing on with some Hairston, that also was up for the Ursula K. Le Guin Prize last year, I believe, but I want to read every book that has been listed for the short or long list, has been nominated for the Le Guin Prize, and I have gotten behind, as I always do, because I don't prioritize reading blocks of things, and so I need to get back on that bandwagon. The next one is a debut novel that I don't remember who put me onto this, but I feel like a lot of people were talking about it and then it just kind of disappeared, and that is Little Gods by Ming Jin. This one sounds very, very intriguing. So this Chinese woman is a physicist, and then it seems like she immigrates to America or Canada. I think it's America. Yeah, America. And has a daughter. And the daughter, after her death, is exploring her mother's past in China. And there's something timey-wimey about it, that her mother has been hiding parts of herself or parts of her past. And I don't know how that's timey-wimey. I don't even know if necessarily it is speculative or if she's just has gaps in her history, but it sounds very, very interesting. So yeah, I wish I remember who put me onto this, but I definitely was inspired to pick this up because I heard about it on BookTube. And then I picked, just because it's summer, a pair of mermaid books. So the first is, this came from Stelliform Press, who published the Ursula K. Le Guin Prize winner the first year of Boreality, and I really enjoyed that, and so I had ordered a copy from them, and I ordered some other stuff because they are a Canadian small press that publishes kind of ecological or environmental focused speculative fiction, so sci-fi and fantasy primarily, some I think horror or verging into horror, but this one is about a sort of underwater scientist, a cephalopod in a very strange world, and much like the Andrea Hairston Archangels of Funk, it sounds pretty hopeful. It says, an underwater tale of friendship against monstrous odds. So I do think this reminds me a little bit of The Deep, in that it sounds like it's underwater society and terrestrial society connecting in some way. But this seems a lot more happy and hopeful, potentially, though there seems to be a negative environmental connotation that they're dealing with. But this is Weird Fishes by Irving Maris. I completely forgot to say the title, I think. So I'm excited to try that one, and it's a pretty short little one. The next one is, I believe, a middle grade or YA. This is The Seas by Samantha Hunt, with an introduction by Maggie Nelson. And I really didn't know anything about this, and then an actual like lit fic serious reader kind of picked it up randomly and was raving about it. Someone who I would not expect to really ever read any sort of middle grade, and just really hyped it up. And so I was like, yes, that sounds great. And then I happened to run into it at a charity sale, and this is a little bit of a battered copy. You can't tell, it's a little dirty there, but it's still in good, very readable condition. So I'm excited to have this. I think that since then I have seen Jen Campbell talk about it, who is a great resource here on BookTube, though much more infrequent in posting in recent years. But I'm excited about it. It looks really good. So I think those are my books. That's everything that I'm hoping to read for the month of July. And we will need some watery books, I think, because it's very, very hot here right now. We are into the heat index above 100, and it's just sweltering. So escaping into some reading that really takes me away, I think, is what's on the menu. So I hope to get to not just these, but a bunch of other joyful things. And I think I'm going to probably continue on some joy reading June a bit as well, just because that has been working so well for me. But I hope that you are excited about some of these books. Let me know which one I need to get to first, or I should prioritize. And let me know what you're planning to read that's top of your pile for July. With that, I will say thank you so very much for watching.